75% of official development assistance comes in form of grants. So what should you do with that information? Well, first of all, you need to ascertain two variables. First of all, it would be, how good am I at finding the right grant opportunities? And second, how successful am I at building good grant proposals? To answer the first question, I would need to further ask, how good am I at finding the right grant opportunities? Well, do I have a strategy? Do I know where am I looking? Where those donors are, the types of grants they're requesting or they're asking for proposals? Also, do I have systems that help my institutional given strategy? Do I have systems? Do I have a way to record all this information, a way to capture information to identify those opportunities that are most likely to be successful in my efforts? And third, do I have engagement channels? Do I know how to reach out to those opportunities? Do I know where the information is, where the can I make these channels work for me in my engagement strategy? Then the second question would be, how successful am I at building good grant proposals, right? And here I would say that I would ask myself, do I have the capacity to write grants? Do I have experience? Writing grants is not something you just learn and then you're already successful at it. It's a trade that experience helps you. Writing grants helps you writing better grants in the future. So do I have that capacity? Can I get that capacity? Do I have it in my team? Do I have a consultant or a grant writer that can work for me, etc.? So I would need to ask that and ascertain that kind of what level of grant writing capacity do I have? And then the second one would be, do you have clarity in your project? What is the vision? How do you measure if you are successful in reaching that vision? What are your KPIs or key performance indicators? So do I have that clarity in the project in order to apply and in order to put it all in the grant proposals? And thirdly would be, how do I transform my subject matter experts? The people that know about my subject matter. It would be education, adult treatments, health issues, etc. How do I transform those subject matter experts in any field where I'm involved, become the force in the proposal writing process? Do I have that connection? Do I know how to capture the information from the subject matter experts and make it into a those indicators that are going to meet the requirements that I want for this theory of change? So, for instance, okay, I'm going to fix a bridge. So, how many people am I going to be helping? So I put these steps. Then I define the key performance indicator, the number of people that will cross the bridge. And then I choose some kind of data collection system, so I could go to some kind of secondary source and find out how many people cross that bridge, et cetera, et cetera. Once I do that, I put it in writing, and then I start the storytelling. Something that you should do, and we should all do. First of all, and we spoke about the importance of your relationship with your donor, right? So what are the donor's needs? And this is an exercise I can do with my board, with my volunteers, by myself, with my team. I can do it online today, right? Et cetera, et cetera. So first of all, the donor's needs, the application process, the getting to know them. Where did I meet them? Where am I connected with them? Did they make a call? Did they an open call for proposals? What are they trying to achieve, etc. So that's the first one. That's the rapport that you need to have with your donor. But then you go into the quantitative indicators. We already said number of homes, but then the qualitative, and let's look at it from a great opportunity. The qualitative says how many women are in that home, how many children, why is it helping them? There's so many hypotheses that probably you already developed when you were speaking with your team about how to do this grant, how to respond to this opportunity. And so many of them also come from your cause, right? From your vision, your mission, your values, but also your capabilities. Where do you situate yourself in that issue itself? And so the qualitative give you the opportunity to develop all these other subject matters, right? So it's a gender issue. Is it how are you going to measure improvement in education starting from an improved housing condition? You probably ask yourself if you're in the affordable housing sector, well, what am I doing? Why is their livelihood aside from or on top of the new house or the improved house? What is it that we're changing? And children have their own KPIs, and you have your own KPIs, and placemaking, making the neighborhood better, safer, etc. All of those, you have the opportunity to breathe. So I always call it show your pride. Show your pride. I mean, that's what you're actually doing. And then, as I said, attributes. Try to use good attributes. If there is a new donor and you already have your system, all you need to do is add on a couple of attributes to your tool, and that'll make it tuned in or center in that donor's needs. To the needs, a lot of projects. I've done projects in the Caribbean, in Mexico. Thousands of homes being built, etc. A lot of times, when you have a good relationship with the donor, it helps you so much to bring friends, bring other parties that they'll help you, but also extend the relationship. Now, in order to do that, the first tip would be designate someone that is going to have that conversation, especially with high net worth individuals, TV or movie stars. Those relationships are very, they should be managed by someone. And then develop your own KPIs for the reporting. You don't want to be late. You don't want to have last time issues. A lot of the time you're spending, millions of dollars probably, in some project. And then the times they eat your day, you're busy all day. You're busy all day doing the operations that you don't think. So you need to be very good at setting those times and holding at those times. A Gantt chart may help you on that, and it also helps you. And here's the tip: when you have a good grant report, it means that you have a good reporting system in your charity. Okay, so it helps you there because am I lagging behind? My commitment was 5 homes in 2 months. It's 2 months. And then you can even develop a plan B. We did. In Mexico, we had issues with certain groups that couldn't go at certain time, but we needed to meet the donors' needs, that it was at a certain time they needed to have these homes finished. So plan B was hiring a construction company that was also certified in terms of social and et cetera as a construction company. So that really helped because we needed to meet the times. If you're with corporate donors, large corporate donors, they're probably going to include that in some kind of campaign information, campaign out on the public. So they need to have those numbers. So, having that relationship and being careful about that relationship, then, you should try to have a report tool by donor, right? So you have the reporting tool. It can be as simple as an Excel sheet, but have it, inform, be on time. That's usually the problem. When I ever ran into an issue, it was about, but I thought you were going to send, but things like that. And then you don't meet the requirements. And remember, all of the data comes in the agreement. You apply for this grant. They told you what are your outputs, what are your outcomes. Okay, report on those that you already identified. And the other tip would be when you have projects with multiple donors, and we all do, and that's life, right? I mean, you may have a good program that you run year round, and you have multiple donors. You have small, you have corporate, and then you have high net worth individuals, etc. Well, try to come up with one tool that will help inform all those donors. So put in one framework all those individual donors' needs. You're going to find out that about 60% is the same data, so it can be shared, right? And then there's also a good number of this happens with foundations a lot, that they share the same reporting tool. So if you've been around and you responded to one grantee, it could well be that they're going to be asking for the same data. So that would be another tip. And then if you have a large project where you need to respond for, like this project in Mexico with homes, there were so many that we decided to go and analyzing, year round, the processing. So we turned the project into processing. So we needed, for instance, an example. We needed to have a site to build 2 months before the construction began. That's one piece of data that will help you, and it can go in this matrix, and that will help you have those flags, those red flags, those issues that you need to solve. So that would be with a major, with a large project. Try to have that in mind and develop that capacity in order to understand all those red flags, because it can get really big. It gets simple. I ran a small grant program with WSPA, and it was mainly capacity building. So it was for, equipment that you probably needed, or so it was specific on that. And the grant reporting wasn't so much into the processes, because that's what you're saying, right? If the grant is to pay for the process, then it's so many metrics. But I would keep it simple. It has to be simple, because it has to be useful as well. And if you have a $10,000 grant, well, how specific do you need to be? I don't know, but probably you need to know your KPIs. Your outputs are going to be simple, but your outcomes, and that's where you're going to show your pride as well. Because you're going to say, well, with this amount,
remember, we have our institutional giving strategy service, where we help you come up with a strategy. We help you do that screening of those opportunities. And also we accompany your team in the endeavor of getting those grants. So make sure you contact us.